What happens when a police chief's son thinks the law doesn't apply to him and physically attacks a 70-year-old Vietnam veteran in broad daylight? This man walked into my courtroom with a smirk on his face, completely convinced that his father's badge was his get-out-of-jail-free card. But when I forced his father to make the most impossible choice a parent can face, his son versus justice, what happened next stopped the entire courtroom cold. The defendant looked me dead in the eyes and said, "My dad runs this town. You can't touch me, old man." The room went silent, but what nobody knew was that Police Chief Thomas Cole was sitting in the very back of that courtroom, watching his son destroy everything he had spent 35 years building. And the decision he was about to make would break hearts, restore faith, and prove that some fathers love their principles more than they love protecting their children's mistakes. Before we get into this story, less than 5% of you watching are actually subscribed. If you believe in real justice, in honoring our veterans, and in holding the powerful accountable, hit that subscribe button right now. This story is about to spread everywhere, and you do not want to miss what comes next. It was a cold November morning, and I was preparing for what looked like a routine assault case. At my age, I have seen thousands of cases walk through these doors. But something about this one felt different from the moment I opened the file. The victim, Robert Martinez, 70 years old, Vietnam veteran. The defendant, Derek Cole, 32 years old, son of Police Chief Thomas Cole. The case file told a deeply disturbing story. 3 days before this hearing, Robert Martinez had been walking his dog in a local park when Derek Cole came flying through in his BMW at a dangerously high speed. Martinez raised his hand, signaling the driver to slow down. That was it. That was his only crime. Derek slammed on the brakes, got out of the car, and confronted the elderly man. 3 separate witnesses watched what happened next. Derek shoved Martinez to the ground. The 70-year-old hit his head on the pavement. When bystanders rushed over to help, Derek reportedly turned to them and said, "Do you know who I am? My father is the police chief. Call the cops. I dare you." Then he got back in his car and drove away, leaving a 70-year-old veteran bleeding on the ground. Robert Martinez suffered a concussion, 3 broken ribs, and a fractured wrist. He spent 2 nights in the hospital. The entire incident was captured on a nearby security camera. When that footage hit local news and went viral, the city demanded justice loudly. My courtroom was packed that morning. Reporters, concerned citizens, veteran advocacy groups, everyone sensing something significant was about to happen. But here's what nobody in that room knew yet. Police Chief Thomas Cole was sitting quietly in the back row, wearing plain clothes, his badge tucked away. His son had no idea he was there, and the reason he came would shock everyone in that building. At exactly 10:30 a.m., the bailiff called the case. The state versus Derek Michael Cole, charged with assault and battery on an elderly person. Now let me tell you something. I have been doing this a long time. I can read a person the second they walk through my doors. Derek Cole walked in like he owned the place. Expensive suit, designer watch, and that smirk. He did not look remorseful. He did not look nervous. He looked annoyed, like this whole proceeding was beneath him. Behind him walked his attorney, Marcus Richardson, one of the most expensive defense lawyers in the city. The kind who specializes in making wealthy clients' problems disappear. But here is the moment that told me everything. When Derek passed the row where Robert Martinez was sitting, wearing his Vietnam veteran cap and a cast on his wrist, Derek did not even glance at him. Not a flicker of acknowledgement. That told me everything I needed to know about this young man before he ever spoke a word. I looked up from my paperwork. My blood was already simmering. "Mr. Cole," I began, "you are charged with assault and battery on an elderly person. How do you plead?" His attorney jumped in. Not guilty, Your Honor. I raised my hand. I asked your client. Derek stood up, adjusted his jacket, looked me directly in the eyes and said, Not guilty, Your Honor. This whole thing is ridiculous. Ridiculous, I repeated slowly. I have reviewed the footage. I have read the hospital reports. I have seen the injuries. Would you like to reconsider that word? He didn't. This is being blown out of proportion, he said. Some old guy got in my way. I barely touched him. The courtroom gasped. Some old guy? I stood up. Mr. Martinez, would you please stand and tell Mr. Cole exactly who you are? Robert Martinez rose slowly. My name is Robert Martinez. I served in the United States Marine Corps. I completed 2 tours in Vietnam. I was awarded the Purple Heart and the Bronze Star. I am a retired firefighter. And 3 days ago, this man assaulted me for asking him to slow down. Silence. Mr. Cole, I said, do you understand what you just heard? But what happened next changed everything. I looked toward the back of the courtroom and said, Chief Cole, would you please come forward? The entire room turned. Standing up from the back row was Police Chief Thomas Cole. He had heard everything. And when forced to choose between his son and justice, he chose justice. I love you, the chief said to his son. But love does not mean protecting you from the consequences of your actions. The courtroom was frozen. That day, justice was not just served, it was proven.